there have been many waves of migration and different things that have happened in Austin. I always joke is that what I've noticed, the two things, the constants in Austin have been change and people complaining about change. That seems to be always the same. And but the difference in this wave, and I say it's all me because I was part of this wave, but the difference in this wave is it was actually a tsunami in this kind of this 2020 and on change. And it was a tsunami because of two different factors. One was just the pure size of it. A lot of it was the migration was just condensed of it. So it was a much larger wave of people coming to Austin. And the other was, I would say, of the level of people coming to Austin in terms of the level of influence of is real level of kind of heavyweights of coming of all things, whether Elon Musk or whatever on down. And so you've seen I was just saying this to somebody yesterday, like you could say like inflection point or whatever is almost not an active enough noun to say kind of how Austin is kind of shifting in different ways. And so, but I mean that from a positive perspective. I mean, part of the one of the pillars of and the origins of this podcast is that Austin is transforming into a superstar hub, and I think that we are doing that in a lot of different ways. And so, my question is, how do you see that mirroring at South by?
Great question, Jason. I mean, I'm not an Austin resident, but I have been following all of this Austin news and migration patterns and whatnot. And, I think this actually kind of goes back to what Chris was talking about earlier when we open up Panel Picker. Our community, you can take our community and say it's very similar to the way that Austin is growing or changing. And I think part of it is we hear from our community, and what we hear from our community during Panel Picker as far as like what kind of content should be represented is also constantly changing. And so we're constantly trying to change along with it by having a better understanding of what it is that is important to our audience, what kind of things that they want to make sure are highlighted. And that's kind of similar to Austin in the sense of it's all about opportunity. Like people move to Austin because of a specific opportunity, and we want to create a community here. When you were talking about how Austin, kind of influences South by Southwest as far as content is concerned, like you can think about when UT had the Dell Medical Center and a lot of health and biotech started moving in. That was also reflected in the kind of content proposals that we received through Panel Picker, because we knew that that was something that people were really thinking about. Even before Elon Musk came here, I think that Austin was moving towards a lot of different types of transportation conversations. And maybe that's the reason why Tesla ended up coming to Austin. Like maybe Austin was the one that got Tesla to come here. And because of that, though, in our content, there is a lot of focus around transportation. So like from that perspective, I do think that there is this natural connection between what's happening in Austin, how our community is responding to it, and then how that translates over to South by Southwest when we hear from our community about what kind of content they want to see, whether that's through Panel Picker or whether that's on site by who is attending what type of sessions. And we, during the event, we are on site as staff, and we are in the hotels and the different venues where all of our programming is taking place. And we're going into the rooms, we're talking to people, we're seeing what is popular, and we're taking note. And I think also Austin as a city is also Austin a community and one that loves supporting South by Southwest. And we also have Austin specific content that takes place at South by Southwest because we want to make sure that the things that are important to them are represented. And the funny thing about that is, it's not funny, but the the amazing thing about that is when those particular ideas get presented, I look to see who's in the room, and there's so many different cities that are listening to this content. So it's like a reminder that, Austin might be a trendsetter in a lot of ways, but it's bigger than Austin. Like these are still all topics and issues that affect everyone no matter where they live. So it's kind of amazing and awesome though that Austin gets to be the place that showcases these and pushes these voices out and gets to be the one that potentially influences other people or cities or communities to try and create change. Like, I love it. It's incredible.
I just by nature of just building out the advisory board, and also just lots of communications that I have throughout the year, what I see is talking to ecosystem builders from around the globe. And one of the common things that I hear is in the city, it could be any city, is like we want to have our version of the South by Southwest, and bringing in these thought leaders from around the globe, bringing this community, this innovative community, and then showcasing kind of what we are doing as a city. And you think about it from an economic impact. Depending on the year, it's about $300 to $350 million that South by Southwest generates us for the community, the benefit of the community by doing an event like this. So there's those components, but I also think it's like when people come into the event, they're also coming for, and I think this is what makes South by Southwest so special, is it's the connection to Austin.